Welcome to the Granny's Legacy Studio. I'm Katie here today to share with you some of our favorite things. Quite often, whether in class or at shows or even over the phone and emails, people will reach out to us and ask us, what is your favorite scissor? Or what do you use for fusible? Or what is your favorite needle to use? So we are just going to answer all of those questions in one video today, calling it the things we love. So I'm just going to work my way through. When people ask us about what's our favorite scissors, this is our go-to scissors. We have probably sold thousands of them. We love these. They're called the Havel 6-inch serrated blade scissor. And Havel does not know we exist, so we're not. Any of this stuff we are not ambassadors for. This is just things we love. The companies probably don't even know who I am. So the reason we love this scissors is because it has nice big loops for your hand, so very comfortable stitching. The blades are very thin and they're serrated. And the serrated is very important because it's like cutting a loaf of bread. You wouldn't bake a beautiful loaf of fresh bread and then use a butcher knife to whack off a piece. You would use a bread knife because it's serrated and it gently cuts through and you get a really accurate, beautiful slice of bread. The teeth or the serrations on this scissor latch onto your wool. So when you're cutting small circles or intricate shapes, you get very precise cutting because the little teeth draw the wool into your fabric versus a smooth blade scissors where it kind of pushes it out and it's kind of hard to cut because it's running away from you. So these are our very favorite, and they're right around $19, so they're affordable and they last forever. Just a great little scissor. We highly recommend. Another thing we get asked a lot is fusible. Do I use fusible? Do I not use fusible? What's your favorite kind of fusible? We love using fusible. The reason being is quite oftentimes when we're stitching a project, we like to be able to cut out the whole thing, fuse all the shapes down, and then stitch it. Because a lot of times we're on the road and we want to do it in the car, or you're doing it in front of the TV and you don't want to get up every 20 minutes to put on more pieces. So we like fusible because you can put the whole thing down at one time. Our favorite fusible is Heat and Bond Light. This is probably amazing to some of you because a lot of people do not enjoy this, but this, if you use it properly, you will love it, absolutely love it. The trick to using this with wool is a lot of heat and steam. The steam activates the glue, which gives it a good bond, so it's not always peeling off. A lot of people will say, I can't use it because it peels off. Well, you need to use a lot of steam and a lot of heat. But with heat and steam comes the danger of burning. And wool is one of the most delicate fibers, so it burns and scorches so easily. So Kim has developed this little pressing sheet for us, my little assistant Kari here, and it is called the Pressing Affair. And as you notice, you can see through it. And then it's also, it's woven, so it's porous and breathable. So when you position this over your project, you can see your shapes. So you know your leaves are all on the tree. You know your bird's wings are where they need to be, or every petal in the flower is positioned perfectly. And then you can use the highest heat setting on your iron that gives the most steam and just steam your project. And that steam that you get from the highest heat setting sets the fusible, and it's just beautiful. And this has prevented the burning and scorching of your wool. So this is an absolute must-have. And if you use the pressing sheet with the high heat and steam, with the Heat and Bond Light, there'll be no gumming up of the needle. It won't be hard to stitch through. It'll be just a breeze. So that's the fusible we like, and of course our pressing sheet. And this is available on our website, Granny'sLegacyPatterns.com, and it's called the Pressing Affair. Another thing, and it comes like this, in a little package. Another thing we get asked a lot is about marking pens. What is your favorite marking pen or pencil, or what do you like best? And the answer we come up with is there's two of them. The first is a white Iron Away gel pen. I say gel pen because that's what it writes like. It's a liquid and it writes clear, so you don't even really know it's writing. It writes like a gel pen and clear. And as soon as it dries, it leaves a vivid, bright white line. And then you can stitch over it. It's a pretty durable line, so if you're doing like marking stems or something, it'll stay on for the majority, or for the whole time you're stitching. And then the heat from an iron removes the line. And this was designed for textiles. It's Bowen, which is a very reputable notion company in the sewing industry, and it's called an Iron Away marking pen. These are awesome. Writes clear, dries white, stays on long enough to stitch your line, removes with an iron. So that's the Bowen pen. Next up, we have the Bowen Mechanical Chalk Pencil. Once again, you may be noticing that we use a lot of Bowen products. We've discovered their quality is absolutely incredible. Thank you, Kari. And this one is a chalk mechanical pencil. It comes with a lot of different color leads you can get. They come in the package with white, but you can get replacement leads. And this writes very easily. Just a beautiful, precise chalk line. And this is very handy when you're getting ready to lay out your pieces and you maybe have to divide your mat into 4 and stuff like that. This is nice because this line will not iron away. So if you ever want to mark something and then being able to iron over it, this one will iron away, this one will not. Also great for just a little doodad if you need a little stem here or there. This is an awesome feature. Both of these are in Kim and I's sewing kit and get used daily. The best 2 pens out there. Next up, we get asked a lot about needles. What needles do we use? The industry standard is the 24 chenille needle because it's very easy to thread with pearl cottons. And pearl cotton tends to be what a majority of stitchers use in the wool applique industry. So they have a nice big eye and a sharp point, so they're easier to thread. Kim and I's favorite needle, however, what we recommend to everybody, and I've not had a needle come back, is a 7 embroidery needle. It's a little bit, the shaft is thinner, the eye is slightly smaller, still very threadable, and it has a very sharp point. Because the needle is thinner, the diameter is thinner, it's not as thick, it glides in and out of the wool absolutely gorgeously, which makes these our favorite. And they're also awesome for French knots, colonial knots, bullion knots, any knot that you're wrapping, because the eye is the same diameter as the shaft. Whereas in the chenille needle, the eye is wider than the shaft of the needle. So when you get all those wraps on your needle, when you go to pull them off, the wraps have to loosen and they're not allowed to tighten back up. Versus if you use the embroidery needle, the 7 embroidery, the eye is the same diameter as the shaft and those little wraps slide off, they're tight and they stay absolutely gorgeous, making beautiful, gorgeous knots. So the 7 embroidery is our favorite. And then a lot of times people will ask us next, well, how do you get that threaded or what's your favorite threader? The Clover Yarn threader is a great threader that comes in 2, it's the same threader available in 2 different, one is just a green plasticky part. This one is a little bit fancier that I like because it feels a little more special. It's a bronze holder with a little threader on it. This will work with the chenille needle. So that works with the chenille needle. With the embroidery needle, you'll have to use like a regular wire threader or a smaller threader. This is too big for the embroidery needle. But I've always said you're not really, once you get the hang of threading a needle, you'll discover that you really don't need a threader. So those are our favorite needles. And then a lot of times people will say, well, I'm new to this. How do I know how to do the stitches? Or do you have videos on your, do you have tutorials on your website? Or how do I know how to do all these stitches? And our patterns are all written with, it'll identify the stitch to use. And we recommend that you have just a stitch guide. This is our very favorite stitch guide. It's called The Hand Embroidery Stitches at a Glance by Janice Thane. And why we absolutely adore this book is it's inexpensive. But that's not the only reason. It has written and drawn illustration for all 39, I believe, stitches in this book. So some people are more visual where they want to see the stitch. Some people like to read through or learn through reading, and so they have written and drawn illustration for each stitch so they can back each other up. It also is probably one of the few publications I've seen that has the colonial knot. Right there. So the colonial knot is in there. All the 30 most common stitches are in here. So this is just a great little book, highly recommended. And then we also have these cute little bags available on our website too, for keeping your little notions or your sewing kit in. So all of this here is available on our website. Oh, I forgot the waft, thanks. A lot of times when you're doing wool applique, we'll use a cotton or a looser woven wool for a background. And with that, we like to be able to stabilize. An example being this welcome piece is just on a homespun. And so to make that nicer to stitch, we've applied a fusible stabilizer to the back. And this one is called Ultra Weft. And it's like a fusible gauze. So the fusible side feels kind of like there's sand on it, and that's the fusible glue. But once the side that is out feels like flannel. It feels like a flannelly gauze. Is that how you describe it, Mom? Yeah. So it's really easy to stitch through. You don't even know it's there. And it's woven, so it prevents stretching and all sorts of stuff like that. It's just easy to stitch through. It's not like some of those that hurt your fingers. So that's the Ultra Weft Stabilizer, is another one of our favorite things. So as I began to say, we do carry all this on our website, grannieslegacypatterns.com. However, we do encourage you to support your local shop. So if this is something that you think is in your shop, please reach out to your shop owner and ask them, give them a call, especially right now when our world is so uncertain. Please give them a call and just say, hey, I saw Katie at Granny's Legacy using these Havel scissors. Do you carry them? And even if they don't, they might be able to get them for you. And I'm sure they would love to have you pull up to the front of their store and they'll run out and pop it in your trunk. So please, please, please keep supporting those stores of yours. If they don't carry it or you don't have a local store, like I said, they are available on our website. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. grannieslegacypatterns.com. So thank you for watching and have a good day.